Have you ever done the driver's ed course and they talk to you about defensive driving? Well, let's take defensive driving, but let's turn it into pickleball and talk about defensive pickleball. Let's jump right into it. All right, so let's talk about defensive driving. Defensive pickleball. So in defensive driving, they always tell you, assume every person out there driving a car is gonna make the wrong decisions because you could be dead right. So make sure that everyone's gonna turn into you or you're being very defensive when it comes to other people's decision. In the same way in pickleball, I'm going to assume my partner, Lauren, is gonna make all the wrong decisions. So I need to assume she's gonna make a bad decision, not assume she's gonna make the right one, because then I'm not gonna be set up and ready to go. So for example, if Lauren gets if someone hits a dink over into the corner here, okay, I'm not gonna assume she's gonna make the right decision and hit another dink back cross court. I'm gonna assume she's gonna speed the ball up, okay? If I assume she's going to dink it back cross court, where am I going to stand? I'm going to stand right here. But if she speeds it up, look how they have the middle to hit into, okay? So I'm going to assume she's going to speed it up, so I'm going to make sure I follow her to the middle and cover the middle and might play a little defensively. Might come off the line a little bit. She speeds it up, I'm in a good scenario or good position to defend the shot, but if she does hit a dink back cross court, what can I do? I can shift back, and so can she, to a position that is good after she hits the ball. So make sure that I'm defending her bad choice, and if she makes a good choice, I can go back to my usual position on a good decision anyways. So that's the first scenario when it comes to defensive pickleball. All right, let's talk about the second scenario in defensive pickleball. So again, we've established that I'm gonna assume that Lauren is gonna make all the wrong decisions. So we're going to be the return team. I'm going to be the partner of the returner, and Lauren is going to be the returner of the serve. They return the serve, or they hit the serve to Lauren. She returns the serve, but instead of returning and running up to the kitchen, she returns it and stays back. Okay, so that's the wrong decision. So when I notice that she stays back after she's hit a ball back over, and the ball's coming back over to her, and she's not up there, what I'm going to do is if I don't get it and it passes me and goes to Lauren, I'm going to back up to the transition zone, because if I stayed up at the kitchen and she pops the ball up, I'm going to get killed. So make sure that if the ball passes you and it goes back to your partner that's staying back, you back up to the transition zone and then get prepared. Because if she pops the ball up, I want to get my pal low and get ready. But say she does hit a good shot low, okay, and hits it into the kitchen. Then I'm going to move forward and be ready to go, even if she doesn't move forward. Then if they hit it back to her, then I back up again, and then so on. But hopefully my partner will move forward, and then we can stay forward together instead of I'm waiting on my partner back there. Just know that you need to back up if the ball passes you and they're back. Don't stay up, because then you're a sitting duck. If she pops the ball up, I'm going to be pelted here at the kitchen line. So make sure you're backing up with them, and then if they hit a good shot, you go back forward. And if they don't move forward, then you're going to have to keep going, moving forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. All right, we're on to the third scenario when it comes to defensive pickleball, okay? We're now the serving team. I'm the partner of the server, or I could be the server myself. And again, I'm assuming that my partner does everything wrong, right? So she doesn't do what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. She's gonna do something that I don't think, right? So in this scenario, Lauren's gonna be serving, okay? She serves the ball. Go ahead, serve it, good. They return it, okay? But what I'm going to make sure that I do is move up to the transition zone when she's getting the third ball. If I get the third ball, hey, I have the choice of what I want to do. But if my partner gets the third ball, I'm going to move up to the transition zone, because I don't know what my partner is going to do. She might even pop the ball up, and then I can have time to back up. But I don't want to assume that she's going to hit a great shot. So if I knew she was going to hit a good shot, what would I do? I would run all the way to the kitchen line. But instead, I don't know, so I'm going to play defensive pickleball. I'm going to move to the transition zone. If she hits a good drop and into the kitchen low of our opponents, then I'll move up, or a good drive that's low. But if she hits the ball up and high, which is the bad scenario, I'm gonna back up and keep my pal low. So utilizing the transition zone gives me the option to be aggressive and move forward, or to back up and play defense. So make sure you're utilizing the transition zone for positioning, and not to stay there, but to move forward or back based on my partner shot. So play defensive pickleball in this third scenario. Before we continue on with the video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos coming up next. All right, so we're back to the kitchen area for the fourth scenario when it comes to defensive pickleball. With defensive pickleball, I want to assume not just when Lauren's pulled out like we talked about in the first scenario, but almost every single dink that she hits, come on back in here, if she's in a dink battle with anyone, I'm going to assume that she's going to hit a pop-up, not a great dink. So I want to assume she hits the worst shot, not the best shot, right? So every time Lauren gets a dink, I'm gonna make sure that I back up a little bit, like maybe one step, and cover the middle more, right? And keep my paddle low. When the ball is on her paddle, okay? If she hits a good dink, then what do? I get back up to the kitchen line, get my paddle up, okay? A little bit higher so that if they speed it up, I can counter, okay? But if she hits a bad dink and it's popped up, then I'm in good position to play defense and get the paddle low. You can also maybe wait a little bit to see if she's being a little too aggressive, and then all of a sudden she pops it up, and then I can back up. But if I back up early, that gives me more of an opportunity to back up maybe even further and give myself more time. But I need to make sure that if she does hit a good dink, I don't stay here in the defensive position. I move back forward again and get back to the line. This is going to be a lot more moving and harder on your energy and movement, but it's going to put you in a better position every time your partner hits the ball. So this is another way you can play a little defensive pickleball if you're not confident in your partner's ability to dink it well. All right, let's talk about this last scenario in defensive pickleball. So with defense, I want to make sure that I have like a pull connected to my partner that's going to be about 6 feet, or as far as we can both reach to each other, maybe even a little bit of an overlap. So what's going to happen, and why I choose pull instead of a rope, like a stiff pull, is because it pushes and pulls, versus a rope, you're only pulling, there's no pushing, right? So for example, if Lauren gets pulled out on a shot over there, I'm going to move out to the middle with her, maybe even back up a little bit, because I'm anticipating what? That pop-up. If she hits another good dink and she comes back, so hit that dink first, let's see it, boom, good shadow dink, and she comes back, I'm not staying here because this is too much of an overlap. That pull pushes me back to this position, okay? And then if I get pulled out, then she comes over to the middle, right? I hit a good dink, then I push her back, and then we're back to position again. But we need to make sure that we're moving back to our position once they come back. We're not covering the middle at all times with that pull out, right? So if I'm here and I hit it, she's covering the middle, but if I go back cross court, then she's gonna cover the line and I go to the middle. So there's this constant shift back and forth, but we're always gonna be the same distance from each other. If she doesn't shift over with me, then we're in big trouble, because if I pop the ball up, then someone's gonna go to the middle. So there's this constant shift going on. So have your partner in the corner of your eye, constantly knowing your distance from them and being able to back them up as well.